developments on the substandard cables installed at a nuclear power plant. Price fixing and enormous dividends for shareholders were involved. President Park Geun-hye is revitalizing the Saemaeul, or new community movement that was started by her father. And Korean performers staged a show at Beijing's Olympic Stadium as the Korean wave continues. Hello and welcome to News Today on KBS World. It's Monday, October 21st. I'm Luke Clary. The revelation of substandard cables installed at a nuclear plant has shaken this country. New developments have shown the companies involved fixed prices and reaped enormous profits.
8 cable producers, such as LS, JS Cable, and Taihan Electric Wire, received sanctions from the Fair Trade Commission for fixing prices during bids for power-generating cables for 8 nuclear power reactors since 2014.
물량을 상호 배분하고 그다음에 낙찰 가격을 사전 합의를 해서 결정한 행위에 대해 가지고 위법성을 인정을 하였습니다.
The companies reaped the profits and gave a portion to their major shareholders. Over the past 5 years, they have paid around $72 million in dividends to their shareholders and their families. The major shareholders of LS's subsidiaries received the most, $55.7 million. Taihan Electric Wire's shareholders received nearly $5.5 million, even though the company's owner gave up his management rights due to business problems. The amount spent on entertainment was also enormous. The company spent over $13 million on this between 2008 and last year. That's almost double the amount that they donated to the needy during the same period. Seoul Electric Wire's entertainment expenditures exceeded its donations by 43 times, while at JS Cable it was by 22 times. Over the past 5 years, the 8 companies signed contracts with the Korea hydro and nuclear power, surpassing $100 million.
President Park Geun-hye has rolled out a new national campaign based on nationwide economic growth. It's the Saemaeul, or new community movement, that was popularized by her father, late President Park Chung-hee.
President Park Geun-hye proposed a second wave of the new community movement, known as the Saemaeul movement in Korea, at a national convention for the new community movement leaders. She said the Saemaeul movement was a psychological revolution that changed Korea's modern history and that it should be resurrected as a nationwide campaign.
제2의 한강의 기적을 일으키기 위해 새마을 운동의 정신을 살려서 국민들의 힘을 하나로 모으는 계기를 또다시 마련해야 할 때라고 생각합니다.
In step with the changing times, the president said the movement should strive to be a future-oriented campaign to reform civic-mindedness. In addition to the 3 drives behind the original movement, diligence, self-help, and cooperation, she expanded it by adding the virtues of sharing, service, and consideration to make it a community drive that can achieve national unity. She also proposed a way to reinvent it into a creative, cultural campaign to heighten Koreans' creativity and cultural drive. Stating that the movement should be expanded to become a global campaign, President Park promised to carry out the international Saemaeul movement as a key international collaboration project. At her meetings with African leaders and summits with Southeast Asian nations, she has been looking for ways to spread the Saemaeul movement to other regions. This was the president's first visit to the South Jeolla region since she took office. Later in the day, she visited the 2013 International Garden Expo in Suncheon Bay to celebrate its successful run.
By-election campaigns are underway in Pohang and Ulleung districts in North Gyeongsang province. Ruling and opposition parties are butting heads.
Namgu in Pohang City and Ulleung County are both industrial districts supported by steelmakers. A by-election is coming up for that electoral precinct, with the former Minister of Government Administration and Home Affairs, Park Myung-jae, running on the Saenuri Party ticket, while the opposing Democratic Party is being represented by Ho Dae-man of its Pohang and Ulleung chapter. Representing the Unified Progressive Party is Park Shin-yong, former chapter head of a trade union. The Saenuri Party's candidate is asking the constituents for their full support, claiming that he is the only one who is capable of carrying out large government projects.
80%가 넘는 압도적인 지지와 성원을 바탕으로 힘있는 일꾼이 되어서 지역 발전을 앞당기고 그리고 정체되어 있던 여러 가지 포항의 문제들을 갖다가 해결해 나갈.
The Democratic Party's Ho Dae-man is urging the voters to cast away their blind support for the ruling party and this time seek change.
박근혜 정부가 오만과 교만에 빠지지 않도록 경고를 주는 그런 의미의 선거가 되어야 된다고 생각합니다. 박근혜 정부에게 주는 보약 같은 야당 후보라고.
Park Geun-hye of the Unified Progressive Party is stressing his background as a laborer and pushing for the policies for workers and ordinary citizens. Park's campaign pledges include the early completion of the Blue Valley construction and the legislation of special subsidy laws for Ulleung Island and the Dokdo Islets. Meanwhile, Ho promised to speed up the construction of a cluster of synchrotron accelerators and invest in public education. While the ruling party is sure of a landslide victory, the opposition side is hoping for an upset win.
Action in the skies with the best attack helicopter pilots in Korea vying for top prize. We bring you images of the Korean-built Suryeon chopper.
Korean helicopters called Suryeon emit flares. A flare is a device used to distract an enemy's heat-seeking missiles. A scene showing the Suryeon releasing flares was disclosed to the public for the first time. A key Army Cobra helicopter launches a tow missile towards a tank. The weapon hits the target accurately, which is 1.5 kilometers away. A 20mm Vulcan automatic cannon pours out more than 700 shots per minute. It even hits moving targets in midair.
항공기의 생존 능력을 극대화하기 위하여 모든 사격관에 10초 이내에 사격하는 전술적 사격을.
This year's shooting competition, which marks its 25th anniversary, drew 72 helicopter snipers. The winner of the top heligun title will be announced in mid-November.
An observation satellite produced by a Korean venture firm and exported to Dubai is ready for launch. It's the fourth Korean satellite to be exported overseas, attesting to Korea's growing space prowess.
A small satellite measuring 2 meters in length and 1.5 meters in diameter is assembled and checked before it's good to go. It's an Earth observation satellite that was manufactured by a Korean company that's being exported to Dubai. Although it's a small satellite weighing in at just 300 kilograms, it has a 1-meter resolution camera that is able to discern the number of cars 600 kilometers above the ground. The satellite will be transported to the Yasny launch base in Russia. Its takeoff is scheduled for November 21st.
새로운 건물이 들어서고 새로운 도로가 생기고 그러기 때문에 지도를 만드는 목적으로 지금 이 인공성을 활용할 수가 있고요.
This company is the only one in Korea to have exported satellites. It has exported 4 so far, raking in over $94 million in sales. It successfully beat its formidable rivals from space superpowers, such as the UK and France, by investing in the research and development of small satellites.
성능 높은 소형 위성에 초점을 맞추어서 사업을 진행해 왔고요. 앞으로도 계속적으로 위성 크기라든지 무게는 줄이면서 해상도를 유지하거나 아니면 성능을 높이는 방향으로 연구 개발을 계속 진행할 생각입니다.
Up until 1999, when the first multi-purpose satellite, Arirang-1, was launched, Korea had to receive help from the US. But now its space technologies have become advanced enough to export their own satellites to other countries.
Korean performers staged a show at the Olympic Stadium in Beijing, the first foreign music act to do so. Korean singers have even gone so far as to release Chinese language albums.
Beijing Olympic Stadium is packed with 70,000 people. The audience went wild to the tunes of Korean pop music. They cheer as Korean singers speak Chinese. They were the first non-Chinese singers to perform at Beijing Olympic Stadium. Beijing city government stationed 18,000 police officers near the stadium for security purposes and extended the operation of public transportation. Korean singer Kang Ta and boy band Super Junior released Chinese albums. They are reportedly more popular in China than they are in Korea. Filled with enthusiastic responses from local fans, the concert testifies to how popular Korean singers are in China.
Chinese tours of the North Korean border region near the Yalu River have resumed after an 8-month suspension following Pyongyang's third nuclear test in February.
This is a rural village near the Yalu River, which is 20 kilometers from Siniju. Seeing a signboard praising North Korean founder Kim Il-sung, tourists realize once again they are in North Korea. Women are busy doing their laundry in the river on a warm, clear autumn day, wearing light clothing. People use a boat to cross the river. North Koreans get off and head for their destinations. North Korean soldiers patrol the area at the entrance of the village. Dozens of students are on an autumn picnic and enjoy themselves near the river.
고기 잘 잡혀요.
Chinese tourists find the landscape of the North Korean rural village fascinating. In some sections, both sides of the Yalu River are the North's territory, and so are popular among Chinese tourists. Small boats sail in the river. Chinese tourists in a large cruise ship look excited to see the foreign land with their naked eyes.
比较神秘啊，神秘就是他们国家跟我们中国友好，跟我们中国是友好联邦，我们愿意和他们接触。
Recently, the number of Chinese people traveling to the North Korean border area have surged due to the easing diplomatic tensions between the two countries.
Korea hosted an international dog show exhibiting beautiful canine companions from around the world, attesting to this country's growing love for dogs.
German shepherds trot across the lawn in step with their owners and to the cheering crowd. There are poodles with their hair coiffed like movie stars and cute Pomeranians resembling puppy dolls. Korea's indigenous breed, known as Jindos, also showed off their dignified demeanor. Show participants could not take their eyes off all the exotic canine breeds.
직접 보니까 정말 우리나라 그 강아지들 문화도 그렇고 애견 문화가 참 수준이 높아졌구나 하는 걸 많이 느낄 수 있었습니다.
The champion dog is determined by various factors, such as its appearance, obedience, and health. Roughly 1,000 dogs from Korea and abroad have taken part in the show. The dogs and their owners have prepared for months and, in some cases, years, to be presentable for the judging, which usually lasts only a few minutes. Sponsored by the Korea Kennel Federation, the FCI International Dog Show has been held in Iksan for 8 years now. The only year the show was canceled was when there was an outbreak of foot and mouth disease. The 2013 FCI Iksan International Dog Show was an eye-opening opportunity for people to appreciate man's best friend.
Guerrilla warfare, guerrilla marketing. You've heard these terms before, but guerrilla gardening? A new trend is beautifying dingy urban spaces.
This neighborhood in Seoul is home to a cluster of factories. Once notorious for dust and noise, it's now bespeckled with flowers. You'll find flowers in old tires, fences, and even in places you'd least expect. They were planted here by two young people at the forefront of guerrilla gardening.
게릴라 가딩 자체가 그냥 퍼블릭한 땅에 제가 누구의 허락도 구하지 않고 심는 거잖아요. 아저씨들이 너무 꽃을 심는 게 즐거워 보이는 게 저도 느껴져서 더 신나서 저도 지금까지 잘 활동할 수 있는 것 같아요.
These green-thumbed activists have been at it for 5 months now. They could easily be spotted pushing carts and planting flowers. The flowers added a dash of color to these dingy factory alleys and the lives of factory workers.
이건 아가씨들이 꽃 갖다 준 거고 이거 심어가지고 파전해 먹으려고 가지고 우리 공장 사람들 매일 이거 관리하느냐고 귀찮을 때도 있지만 이거 하면서로 새로운 보람을 많이 느낍니다.
Guerrilla gardening is changing the landscape here. The name is derived from the gardener's tactics. They swoop in, plant flowers, and disappear. Efforts to encourage young people to appreciate aesthetics are gaining ground in Korea.
저희가 마을 곳곳에 좀 쓰레기도 버려지고 좀 더러운 곳에 게릴라 가든도 하고 벽화도 그려서 마을을 좀 이쁘게 꾸며보려고 지금 하고 있어요.
Today, these guerrilla gardeners will visit a neighborhood that's notorious for illegal garbage dumping. First, they clean up the trash. The neighborhood spiffs up in no time. Then the planting begins. But it's not all about flowers. The guerrillas also paint murals and recycle refuse to help liven up the neighborhood. Their efforts work wonders. This spot was once dirty and it stank, but now it's home to blooming flowers. The murals add a unique, beautiful touch. With just 3 hours of effort, the locals are thoroughly impressed.
지저분했는데 지금 와보니까 아이고 애썼어요. 주위 사람들이 되게 격려도 많이 해주시고 좋아하시는 모습을 보니까 이런 게 진짜 필요하구나라는 생각이 들고 앞으로 더 이런 게 많아졌으면 좋겠어요.
Now, few people dare to dump their garbage in such a beautiful corner. Some residents even come to water the flowers. The positive energy of these flowers delights the eyes amid the hustle and bustle of the big city. It's one small step toward making the world a better place.
And now we'll take a look at the markets, followed by the world weather. And that's it for this edition of News Today. We'll see you tomorrow at the same time. Have a great day.